On August 2nd, 2018, Apple became the first US company to hit the market cap of $1 trillion. And by 2020, this number doubled, which, to put in context, is 10% of the GDP of the United States. And there were so many articles written about the company that the real Apple disappeared from the Google search engine. While the iPhones make up for half of the Apple's operating revenue, its sales have been slowing down. And if this is the case, then why does Apple's stock keeps going up and its market value continues to rise? What makes Apple so special in the eyes of the investors? Well, according to Apple's CEO, Tim Cook, if you zoom out into the future and you look back and you ask the question, what was Apple's greatest contribution to mankind? It will be about health. That is a bold statement. And does it mean that Apple is going after the healthcare industry at which Google and Microsoft have failed at least once before? What is it about Apple that allows them to disrupt yet another industry at which other tech giants have dropped the ball? And why is Apple attempting to do so? There seem to be two primary reasons why Apple is moving into healthcare. First, Amazon and Google are entering Apple's territory. While Amazon is making home devices, Google is making phones. Not only that, after a decade of exponential growth in the US, the smartphone market is slowing down. It is harder to sell someone a phone when they already have one. And iPhones have become so good that they are competing with, iPhones. So fewer people are upgrading them. Of course, Apple saw this coming. So what's the next logical step? If we look at the past, we can see how tech has transformed industries over the years. Facebook is technically the world's largest publisher, but they only make editorial judgments. Uber dominates the transportation market without owning the cabs. Airbnb is the biggest hotel chain in the world and they do not own any property. But one industry that has always been insulated from disruption due to its complexity and regulations is the healthcare industry. The reason big tech is going after healthcare is that it's worth $3.5 trillion in the United States alone, which is roughly 3 times the size of the smartphone market. And the spend on healthcare is growing faster than inflation, which means the size of the pie keeps getting bigger. In an interview, Tim Cook mentioned, when you look at most of the solutions, whether it's devices or things coming out of big pharma, they are done to get the reimbursement from the insurance companies, not thinking about what helps the patient. So if you don't care about the reimbursement, which we have the privilege of doing, that may even make the smartphone market look small. Back in 2008, Google started a project which they called Google Health with the aim of creating a repository of health records. But it was shut down within 4 years, primarily because they relied on users to log their medical records manually. How do you input an EKG report? Google solution. Why don't you paste it here? Or, add some notes. And in 2007, Microsoft launched Health Vault, which was closed 12 years later in 2019 due to low adoption. The Health Vault did not provide any actionable insights to its users, and surprisingly, it was not designed for mobile devices. I am not kidding. Both Google and Microsoft focused on data, but they failed to create an ecosystem with incentives for users and health providers. That's where Apple comes in. Historically, Apple has excelled at blending user experience with hardware, and creating an ecosystem is Apple's specialty. Looks like this is what they've been planning to do all along. While people were dealing with the shock of no headphone jack, Apple was refining the tech where they can turn the AirPods into pulse oximeters, biometric monitors, and hearing aids. Apple holds patents to turn its iPhones, AirPods, and Apple Watch into full-blown medical devices. Just like Apple changed the music industry with iTunes, they've begun establishing yet another ecosystem with their health apps. Apple has figured out what to do with the data and they have the tech and resources to implement it at scale. Back in 2013, Apple got the patent for heart rate monitoring on a smartphone, and in 2014, they launched HealthKit, which can monitor and store specific biomarkers that can track anything from changing glucose levels to detecting autism using third-party apps. A year later in 2015, after integrating FHIR, a technology that allows patients to pull their health records from hospitals onto their phones, Apple launched ResearchKit, which allows pharmaceutical companies to conduct major studies. For example, in one highly marketed Stanford study, Apple was able to help recruit 400,000 participants with their iPhones. While using the traditional approach, it can take up to $1,000 to recruit one participant in a study, and monitoring their health is even harder. But by using Apple's built-in customer base, users' medical history within an app, and Apple's hardware, the speed at which this can be done is remarkable. Then, in 2016, after the success of ResearchKit, Apple launched CareKit with the goal of connecting patients with doctors directly on their iPhones. And not surprisingly, Apple already has a patent for telemedicine. And then, in 2020, Apple launched Fitness Plus, a subscription service where people can work out and track their progress all within Apple's ecosystem. This will help Apple gain new customers and sell more high-margin hardware, which has always been their focus. But how do you get millions of people to buy an expensive watch? You see, back in 2007, Apple was in a similar position with its swanky iPhones, which they got subsidized through telecom companies. When the iPhone came out, Microsoft's then CEO Steve Ballmer said, and quote, "There is no chance that the iPhone is going to get any significant market share. No chance. It's a $500 subsidized item." 10 years later, he praised Apple's business innovation and said, "I wish I had thought about the model of subsidizing phones to operators." And now, the Apple Watch is being subsidized by the insurance companies. But why are these companies subsidizing an expensive watch, you ask? Well, the answer is scale. Problem for insurance companies is that the hospital's administrative costs make up for the biggest chunk of their spending. And with preventive healthcare, even if they can avoid one hospital visit per patient, the watch will pay for itself. And not only that, two of the largest health insurance companies, Anthem and United, have roughly 50 million members each, whereas there are more than 100 million iPhone users in the United States. So the insurance companies can also get access to new customers within Apple's ecosystem. But this also raises some serious security and privacy concerns. For example, in the black market, where a stolen credit card goes for 25 cents a pop and a social security number for 10, the health data, because of its obvious personal nature, goes for up to $1,000. And this is why Apple has been marketing its devices with privacy as its focus. In the recent iOS 14 updates, Apple has explicitly started blocking Facebook by making its audience network tracking useless, and now requires all apps on the App Store to add privacy labels disclosing the type of data collected and its uses. On the other hand, with a slew of sensors and trackers, this can also radically change our relationship with insurance companies, which are for-profit organizations. Although we do not pine for days when a blood sugar test took 2 days to administer, but with black box insurance pricing models, can our lifestyles affect our premiums? For instance, if you smoked, would your premium go up? If there are not enough heart rate spikes, would that be a problem? If you drive faster, would you be paying more? With companies declaring this as the new era of smart insurance, could active health tracking become a condition for employment, where managers will be able to look at the dashboard and handpick the people for the next sales pitch? And what about regulation? Well, with countries' older population on the rise, the enrollment in Medicaid is constantly going up, and at this rate, it will double within the next 10 years. By 2030, there will be 79 million people on Medicare, and the government just wants to save money. And if Apple can prove that it is capable of detecting potentially serious health problems before they require an expensive intervention, it seems to be a part of the solution. And whatever the future has in store for us, clearly Apple is going to be a big part of it.